Welcome to the training on using Canvas Studio to record lectures that engage your students. So let's talk a little bit about what Canvas Studio is. So Canvas Studio is a built-in feature to Canvas. It's paid for by the OEI grant, which means that we do not have to pay anything separate for it, so we're covered. And what it does is it allows you to either take pre-existing videos or create brand new videos directly in Canvas. And once those videos are embedded on your pages, you can add comments to it, and so can your students. You'll be able to get insights, which will tell you who has viewed the content, how long they've viewed it, if they've skipped ahead, and that kind of thing. So these are great metrics that we'll get from this product. We'll also be able to add captions to our videos, and it's a very, very easy captioning service. So we'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. And we can also embed quizzes directly in our lecture videos. So this is a really cool, exciting feature that you'll be able to experiment with, and hopefully this video, which I'm also taking with Canvas Studio, you'll be able to see just the different possibilities just going through this video. So what we're going to learn today specifically is how to access Canvas Studio. We're going to learn how to add pre-existing videos so we get access on our old videos to these great features. We'll also be able to capture a new video and edit that video. And the editing tools are the same as Screencast-O-Matic because Canvas Studio actually uses Screencast-O-Matic software to edit those videos. So if you're familiar with Screencast-O-Matic, great, you're 5 steps ahead already, which is exciting. And if you're not, that's okay. We'll go over Screencast-O-Matic and how it works here in this video today. So the last thing you'll be able to do is share those videos with other instructors. You'll be able to share them between your different classes, and you'll also be able to obviously share them with students, right, by embedding them on your page. So let's jump in by logging into Canvas and accessing Canvas Studio. So whenever you log in to Canvas, you will notice a new icon and it says Studio. It's in the global navigation menu. And once you're here, you will be able to do things like record a brand new video, or you can add a pre-existing video that you've already created. So again, that lets us have access to those cool studio features like the insights and the comments and the quizzing and stuff like that. So in addition to accessing it from the studio icon in the global navigation menu, you can also access Studio by going into your individual courses, and you'll notice Studio is an item in your course menu, and it looks like this. So here I am in a course, and right here I have a Studio icon. So you can see all of your individual studio videos here as well. Now I encourage you to go to Studio instead of in the course menu. I encourage you to go there from the global navigation menu. And the reason I suggest that is because you can only add quizzes to your videos when you go to Studio in the global navigation menu. So that's really easy to forget. So if you get in the habit of always accessing Studio by clicking on Studio in this global navigation menu, you won't run into that issue where you can't find the quizzing feature. So let's cover how this works. So if I want to add a pre-existing video, like I said, you're just going to click on Add. And you can either drag and drop your video directly here, or you can also browse for the video if it's on your computer. It will upload very, very quickly into Studio in my experience. You know, if it's something like a 15-minute video, it might take 30 minutes to upload. But generally, you know, I'm only doing like 10 minutes at a time, and sometimes it's really, really fast, like a minute or two. So it just depends. So I always allot for twice the amount of time that the video is for it to upload, just in case. But sometimes you'll find they go in very quickly. The other way you can do this is by copying and pasting a YouTube URL. So if you have your lecture videos on YouTube already, you grab the URL for the video, you paste it in here, and you click Add, and it goes in instantly. It's not uploading. So it's just instant, it's in, there it is. So one really, really important thing to note here, when you are adding a video here, right? So you're actually uploading the video into Canvas Studio, that's where we run into our storage space issues. So we do have about 10 terabytes for the institution. It sounds like a lot, but it gets eaten up very, very, very quickly. So I would encourage you to, if you're already using YouTube, stick with that. Paste your YouTube link because it's going to save us on our storage space, and that's just it's a good practice in general. However, the problem with using YouTube is that you don't get access to the closed captions. So even if you've already created closed captions in YouTube, they're not going to come over automatically. So there is an extra step involved. You do have to download the captions from YouTube and then upload them into Canvas Studio. So we'll cover that in another video. And for right now, just know you can put it directly into Canvas Studio, but it will eat up storage space. And if you take it from YouTube, that's a good way to do it. But remember, you have to bring over the captions separately. So for right now, let's take a recording and let's put it into Canvas Studio. All right, so let's take a test recording. So I'm selecting my video file and I'm clicking open. And I think it's only about 2 minutes, so it's going to go in very, very quickly here. You can see the status bar turning blue as it uploads. And that's it. It's green. It's uploaded, which is great. So I can now do things like view this video, or I can embed it in a course, in a lesson page, or as an assignment. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. I can also do things like add a quiz to this. So before we do that, let's also talk about how to actually record a brand new lesson. So if I've already pre-recorded it, I can upload it very quickly and add a quiz to it and put it in a course. If I'm recording a lesson for the first time, I'm going to click the record button. And I can choose either a screen capture or webcam capture. Now I've noticed that it doesn't make a difference because if I choose screen capture, it doesn't actually prevent me from including my webcam as an option. So I'm hitting record and I'm going to choose screen capture because really it'll allow me to do both things. Now, if this is the first time that you've launched it, you will get a download option. Otherwise, you can just click open the screen recorder launcher. And if you take too long to open the screen recorder launcher, then it will give you the option right here, as you can see. It gives me the option to download it for the first time. So there's nothing that you need to seek out to be able to download this software. It will prompt you right from Canvas. So all we've done to get here, just to review, is we've gone to Studio, and now we're hitting record and choosing screen capture. And now I'm going to open it because I've already downloaded it. All right, so my recorder has launched here. And you can see anything within these black and white bars is going to be captured on my screen. So I can choose just to record my screen and my voice, right? You can tell that my microphone is working because it's lighting up green. Or I could just record my webcam. So that would be just my face, right? No screen. Or I could do both, which will give me a small little picture in the corner of my face, and it will show my screen in the background. You can also choose to make that webcam view a little bit bigger. So if I wanted to, I could actually start recording with, just my face, and then I could make it I could pause it, and then I could make the webcam look a little bit smaller, so I'm really showing more of my screen. So kind of a neat way to do it. So for right now, so here's our size. I encourage you to select 720p as the size, if not full screen. And the reason I suggest doing it this way, if not full screen, is because this will it will take the screen capture with a higher resolution. So that's still high def here. 480p is going to be a little bit blurry, so you really want to stay away from that, or even custom dimensions. So right now I've resized this in a custom way. Um, but I wouldn't do that in general. I'm just doing it because I'm actually doing a screencast-o-matic recording within a screencast-o-matic recording. So this needs to be smaller than my actual 720p recording, which I'm doing right now. So make sure that your size is 720p, or just full screen is fine too. Either way is totally okay. Make sure that your narration is lighting up green. If it's not, then you can click here and you can choose, whatever the appropriate microphone is until it's lighting up green. You can also record your computer audio. And recording your computer audio means, like, if you're, let's say you're recording over another video, for example, it would be important to capture that computer audio, otherwise there will be no audio. Or if you'd like to capture things like your clicking sounds, right? If you're clicking things and you want to hear that computer click, that can be really helpful. Another great thing to check out here are the preferences. And this will give you access to hotkeys. So that those are like your shortcuts to pause the recording, restart the recording, things like that. So once you hit record, it's going to start capturing your video, and then you'll get access to the editing tools. So let's hit record and see what this looks like. We'll start off with a 3-second countdown. So now we're recording. We'll also notice that the running lines here are red and white, so it shows that we're recording. So I can just go at this point. If I have a PowerPoint on my screen, it will record anything within this window, right? So I can fit my PowerPoint to fit within these running lines, and it will look just fine. I can also do things like annotate using this little pencil icon. I now get this little draw and zoom menu where I can do things like just freehand annotate. I can erase that annotation by clicking the erase button. I can also change the color of the annotation, and I can do things like, if I want to do an arrow instead, I can do that. Or I can add other shapes like boxes and circles, that kind of thing. So this is a really great tool that I like to use. When you click erase, it erases everything, so that's important to note. When you're done annotating, you can click the pencil icon and it will go away. So make sure that you always erase the annotations before hitting the pencil icon, but if you need to, you can hit the pencil icon and then hit erase. So important things to note. You can also pause as you're doing your recording using this little pause icon here. And that will allow you to either take a break, right? Step away, take a deep breath, or you can change what's on your screen if you wanted to, right? Which is kind of cool. Or you can get rid of everything you've done. So you can delete everything and start over because it's a mess. I have done that more times than I can count. Or you can also just hit done because you're done recording. You can also review what you've recorded. So I can hit play, and it's going to replay. It's going to replay my voice. It's going to replay whatever was on the screen before, which is cool. And then I can actually, like, let's say, so here I am at about 4 seconds worth of the 1 minute long recording or whatever that I took. So I can actually skip ahead here. I can skip ahead here. And if I wanted to, let's say something happened at 1 minute and 11 seconds, I could actually hit this record button again, and it will continue recording at this point, which will record over anything remaining here. So this will allow me to truncate my recording. It will ask me if I want to truncate it. So again, it's only going to be this stuff, and then everything else goes away and gets recorded over. So this is a great feature. I use this all of the time. If you know that you just coughed or hiccuped or something weird, right? Like, you could just go back by a couple of seconds and then you could truncate it, and that allows you to take it out really, really quickly and easily. So when you're done with your recording, you can hit done, And this is where you're going to get access to the great editing countdown tools. So now we're recording. We'll also notice that let me resize this a bit. Okay, now it fits in my window a little bit better. So I can either directly upload it, right, by entering in the title of my recording and hit upload, or I can use this little edit button, and this is where the magic happens. Once I click edit, I can enter in my recording name, stuff like that. So I'm going to say test recording 3. I've done this a few times. And now I can do things. I see my timeline here along the bottom. I know it's a minute and 25 seconds here. So now I can do all sorts of cool things to my video. This is my editing space. It will auto save as you go. However, this is really your one shot to do all of your edits and to upload your video. Now, if you have Screencast-O-Matic and you've paid for the license, it's like $15 a year. It's not super serious. It's not, $900 software that does this kind of thing. If you have Screencast-O-Matic, then what you can do is it auto saves as you edit it, and you can hit done, and then you can revisit it a year down the line and make edits to it as long as you haven't changed your computer, right? Because it saves onto your computer. But here, because this is in Canvas Studio, it auto saves as you go, but if your computer shuts down in the middle, it's not going to save it because it doesn't back it up anywhere directly on your computer that I'm aware of anyway. That might change, and if it does change, then I will add a comment to this point in the video to clarify. But as of right now, if your computer crashes in the middle, you're kind of out of luck. So anyway, here we are editing, and we can use all these great editing tools. You can see also, again, like I said, the timeline is down here. So you can kind of see this is, my voice. This is where I've taken a little pause right here. If I want to make this space a little bit bigger and really make some changes here, I could zoom in using this little zoom tool. And there's another zoom tool right down here. So I have my first layer of zoom, and I have my second and my third. So I can really get into those, 2-second space, and I can do things like I can slow down if I wanted to, right? So I hit tools and I could change the speed. I could speed it up or slow it down. This is, I use speed up if I've got like a screen that takes forever to load. You can go right in and speed it up so you're not wasting 30 seconds on that kind of stuff. You can also do things like cut. So you can cut out something like an entire section. So once you select cut, it goes right in, and now I choose the area to cut. So I can drag this, and now I'm cutting out this whole period of time. I can preview it by clicking on the preview button, or I can just say OK. And now those seconds are cut, and I see I've got a little cut right here. I can click on it, and I'll see my cut is here. Feel free to slow this video down, by the way, if you need to pause it and rewind to watch this again, because I am moving pretty quickly through this stuff. If you need to select that cut and maybe you made a mistake and have to get rid of it, then you're going to put your cursor where that cut is. You'll see it show up right here. And then I can remove that cut, and it restores that little section that I cut out, which is great. So you can do cuts in the middle, you can do cuts at the beginning, at the end, you can cut out you can cut out a whole section if you need to. So cut is something you'll use a lot. You can also copy certain sections if you wanted to of the video and kind of paste them in later. You can insert them once you copy them. You can also do things like hide your cursor or your webcam. So if you were doing a recording where you recorded your screen and your webcam and you made a goofy face, you can hide your webcam for those couple of seconds and get rid of it. So you don't need to leave that stuff on there if you don't like how it looks. Now, similarly, right, you can cut entire sections out of your video, but really if you just need to hide a piece of it, like your cursor going a mile a minute or your webcam, you can do that too. So you can also do things like narrate over. So if I didn't like what I said here, right, and I can tell what I said here by hitting the play button at any time, this little pencil icon. So if I didn't like how I said that, I could, in theory, right, hit tools and narrate. And now I can narrate over this whole section. Now when I hit start, it's going to open up what looks like a little record button, and I hit record. I record what I'm saying. It doesn't edit what's being shown on the video. It just edits the sound. So it gets rid of anything here and it replaces it with the new sound. So narrate, I use all of the time if I say something incorrectly. If the terminology has changed, this is a great way to do it. I just hit start and then I'll be able to go in there. Now I can also do things like add in an overlay. So you can enter in an image. So you could do like a Hartnell logo in the corner of your video if you wanted to. You could blur out specific information. I'll show you what that looks like. So right here, I could blur out a student ID number, for instance, right? You could choose the layer, the amount of blur here. So you have a lot of flexibility with these tools. You can also insert other items, right? Like you can enter in an outline of something. So you can call attention to something. You could change the style, the color, the shape, the thickness of the shape, if there's shadow or not. There's so many options here that I don't want to blow your mind with too many of them because this is a bit of a rabbit hole here. So I'm going to go ahead and click cancel. This allows me to also put in arrows. I can highlight a certain area, so it blurs. It doesn't blur it. It makes everything else darker so that you can't really see it. And again, you can kind of choose that level of blur that you want by going into the style, and you can add in a zoom, which makes it appear bigger. There's all sorts of very cool things you can do to these videos. Now, another thing you can do with the overlay is to add a text bubble, right? So you could enter in, this is not for captions. We'll talk about captions when we actually finish the video. But right here, this is where you can enter in custom text. You could say, go to hartnell.edu, that kind of thing. So I really, really like this. All of our formatting options are right here. We can change the color of the background, stuff like that as well. So I'm going to try to go quickly through the other options because this stuff can just get so deep in terms of what you can change. So we can also freeze the frame here. So let's say you accidentally showed student grades for a second, right, in your video. You could blur them out, or you could just freeze the frame right here before that screen changed. And then it would freeze your frame, and then it's like displaying those grades never happened because the screen is frozen at that point, so nobody can see those grades. So that's a really nice option. You can also, like I said before, speed up certain sections, slow them down, and you can edit the volume of a certain area. So if you turned your head and you were no longer speaking directly to the microphone, you could actually, instead of re-recording, you could just increase the volume or decrease the volume, whatever you need to do. So many tools, so little time. It's very, very exciting stuff. You can also add transitions to the beginning or the end of your video if you want to make it look nice and polished. So for right now, we're going to go ahead and click done. We're going to pretend this is all we need to edit, and we're going to say, we're going to retitle it again, right? So we had what? Test recording 3. You want to make sure those match and hit upload. Nothing happens if you don't make it match. It's just you're going to appreciate yourself later if you make the words match and you won't be searching for the wrong titled video. So once it's successful, it will tell you that it's done the thing it needed to do. We're going to click continue. And now we have test recording 3 right here in Canvas Studio. So it's processing. It's going to take maybe a minute or so. So the way we got here again is we went to Studio in the global navigation menu. We hit record, and then we launched our recorder. And then once we finished recording, we went into the editing tools. So this is now ready to make changes to. So let's view this video. And we see here we have our details tab of our video. So we could enter in a title. We could change the title. We could enter in a description of our video. We could also enter in some comments. A clever way that I've seen this used is to enter in like parts, right? So if I say part 1 is right here, is at 0 seconds, that's part 1 of the video. And now a little blue bubble shows up here to show students that this is part 1. I can also enter in part 2 and hit comment. So now we have a part 2. Oops, I entered it at the wrong time. So let's get rid of that guy. Countdown. So we'll get rid of that guy by hitting on this little delete icon. Yes, I want it gone. So let's go here. Let's say 17 seconds is where part 2 happens. So it's important to be at that point in your video when you want that comment to show up. So right here, I can confirm, yes, I want it right at 17 seconds. And now I can see that it's right here. So I have part 1, part 2, that kind of thing. I can also edit the comment. So see how I did a number for part 1 and I did Roman numerals for part 2. We want to be consistent. So I'll hit save. And that's it. So we can enter in different parts into our video this way. This is also how students can interact with your video. So they can also, if you allow comments when you embed your video, which we'll talk about in a minute, how to embed the video, when you embed your video, so you can enter in the comments now in Studio, or we can go to the actual place where you embed it in like your lesson page, for instance, in your course. And we can add comments then instead. So either way is fine. And you'll be able to subscribe to comments. So if students start asking questions, you're going to get an email about it. So it builds in a form of interactivity. So your students can ask questions and they can ask those questions exactly where they have the questions. So now you know at what point you're getting several questions, and then everybody benefits from that information. So you can reply to students, and it's just a great feature. So here, let's get into the insights. And insights will tell you who has viewed it. So you'll be able to click on the person, and you'll be able to see if they viewed it and how long they viewed it. So you'll start to see other student names here, right, and their little profile picture in Canvas. And you can actually click on each student to see what they viewed. So it will show up as a blue bar. And if you've got a steady blue bar, so they're like little, they look like little pie charts. Like, so as long as you have blue bars the whole way through until the end, you know that the student viewed the entire video. So that's a great feature. You can also see if they skipped ahead, then it will show like right here from 30 seconds to 40 seconds. If they skip that section, it'll show blue, 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 blue. It'll stop at 30 seconds and you'll see nothing until 40 seconds where it goes blue, 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 blue again. So this is a great way to see if your students are paying attention. And the quizzing feature, which we'll talk about in a moment after we talk about captions, the quizzing feature allows you to put in little quizzes. You can have them show up as little bubbles like these comments show up, but they have a little question mark in them. And that will ensure that your students are paying attention because the video will not continue until they answer that question. So they have to like click it to move forward. They don't have to get it right, but they have to answer it. Okay, so quizzing is a great feature to make sure they're actively paying attention and they haven't walked away. You can also make it so that those quiz questions don't show up on the timeline, so the students don't know where those questions are going to appear and it surprises them. So it acts like a little pop quiz feature. Those quizzes can go into the gradebook. It depends how you set it up, how you embed it in your course content. So we'll talk about that more when we talk about embedding. So let's get into captions. Captions are wonderful. So you can upload them, this is how you do it. If you've gotten your videos from YouTube and they're your videos, then you can go into YouTube Studio and you can download the caption file and then upload it here just by clicking English or whatever language your video is in. So you can do it this way. There's also a dedicated video that will walk you through that process. But if you have recorded it directly in Studio here, then you're going to do what's called a Captions Request. And you're not actually requesting it from like a person. You're just requesting that the technology detect what you're saying. So you indicate whatever language your video is in, and then you hit request. Usually it goes fairly quickly. Again, I would always allow about twice the amount of time as your video for it to detect those captions. It just takes a little bit longer. I would say it takes longer for it to do those captions than it does to even upload your video in the first place. So it can take a couple of minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it at this point and come back when the captions are there. All right, so the captions are now available for me to review and publish. It took just about 3 minutes. So on a video that is 1 minute, 25 seconds, you can expect, again, it's about twice the video length. So yeah, about 3 minutes to get it done. So let's click review and publish. And now we see our captions are here, and I can make any changes to them that I'd like to. You see that there is punctuation, capitalization. The captions are excellent. They're usually pretty darn accurate, and you can hit play and hear what's spoken and then update as you need to. It's really easy to update just by typing in, right? So when you're ready, you're going to click, it does auto save as you go, and you can hit publish when you're ready, and that's all there is to it. If you want to make changes after the fact, you hit the 3 dots and you hit edit. That's it. And you could download those captions if you wanted to upload them somewhere else for any reason. You can do all sorts of stuff like that. So that's the captioning feature. So let's go over the quizzing feature. So what we have to do, I'm actually in the video right now, and I will need to go back into Studio. I don't need to hit save because everything has been auto-saved. So back here in Studio, here's my test recording. I'm going to hit the 3 dots to the lower right of the video, and then I can create a quiz. I'll enter in the quiz title. Let's say Pop Quiz. And actually, you probably won't want to use a title like Pop Quiz because that's actually going to give the video title the title Pop Quiz. So you'll see, I want to keep that so that you can see why it's a bad idea. And then you can enter in a description or not. Now here's where you can hide those question markers on the timeline if you would like, so that way they don't see when those questions are going to be in the video so they can't skip to them. But I'm going to leave it off so that way you can see what those question markers look like. So we'll hit get started. So now we are actually in the space already. So we can hit the plus icon anywhere on the video timeline to enter in a quiz question. So I'll hit it towards the end here. I can choose a multiple choice quiz, true and false, or multiple answer. The difference between multiple choice and multiple answer is that multiple choice, there's only one correct answer. Multiple answers, there are multiple correct answers. So that's where you can say, you know, A, B, C, or all of the above, that kind of thing. So let's do multiple answer, just so we can see what that looks like. So here's my question. So we'll say, are you paying attention? That's not typically something you might want to do, although more power to you if you do. And I can type in an answer, which is yes. Whichever one has the check mark by it is the correct answer. So yes, I am paying attention is the correct answer. No would be the incorrect answer. Now I can add other answers, like maybe, who's asking, right? And I could say, hey, that's another correct answer. So the student would need to select both yes and maybe to get full points. Okay. Now at this point, depending on how I embed this, this may go into the gradebook or it may not. This is not where we indicate that. We indicate that in the way that we embed our video. So I'll go over that more in a minute. So right now the correct answer is actually yes. And that's the only correct answer, and that's fine. Even though I've selected multiple answer, I can still just have one selected, and it's fine. I can get rid of them at any point if I want to. And I can also do things here, like I can shuffle those choices. So yes will appear as the first option for some students, no will appear as the first option for others, and so on. So that's if I want to limit cheating, right? But I could also lock the position of any of them. So I'll give you an example. This is the kind of one that I might lock, right? Because I never want all of the above to fall anywhere but at the exact bottom, but all of these will shuffle. So this gives me some really nice flexibility. So I'll actually make all of the above as the correct answer. And then I can enter an individualized question feedback. So for a correct answer, I can say, great job. For an incorrect answer, I can say, sad face. I don't know, whatever you want to do, right? And then I could also provide general feedback, which will apply no matter what option they select. I'm not going to. I'm going to click save. And now I have this one question right here. So again, I can add more questions down the road. You see they show up as these little question mark bubbles, and I can edit those questions by hovering my mouse over it and clicking the pencil icon. So for right now, I'm going to hit done because I only want the one question. That's fine. And you'll see that it has a little rocket ship next to it. That little rocket ship means that this is a quiz kind of Canvas Studio video, which is wonderful. Now I can embed it as a quiz type, or I can embed it as a non-quiz type. Now, if you do it as a quiz type, you'll lose access to comments. Okay, so that's important to note. If you want students to have comments on it, you can't make it a quiz. If you want it to be a quiz, or if you want it to be comments, it can't be a quiz, right? So one or the other. So let's take a look at how to embed these videos in your actual courses. All right, so here I am in a blank unpublished course. The only thing inside of this course is the PDC course template. So if I go to modules, I will have a week 1 lesson page. So this is where I want to embed that video lesson. So I'm going to go to the week 1 lesson page and I'm going to click edit. Now it's important to note before I click edit, I've already done it. Okay, so it's important to note that when you put a Canvas Studio video into a Canvas page, if you have a quiz, the points will not go into the student's gradebook. Okay, it will not go into the gradebook. It's still a great tool because you can still see how students did. You'll still see the quiz results if that's how you want, if you want to embed it that way. But if you want it to go into the gradebook, there's a different way to do that. We'll cover that after this. So I'm showing you how to put in a lesson video into a page that has either a quiz or just has comments. So I'm going to erase all of this content because for right now we just don't need it. And I'm going to say, for this week's lecture, please watch the video embedded below by clicking play. Seems obvious, but it doesn't hurt to be very explicit with the directions. It also helps if you tell them how long the video is. Sometimes this isn't entirely necessary because it already shows how long the video is, but it doesn't hurt if students can manage their time a little bit better by knowing in advance how long it's going to be. So for right now, to embed a Canvas Studio video directly into a Canvas page, you're going to click this little downward arrow. It goes to more external tools. This editor here that I'm making little circles around, this is going to change. Okay, it's probably not going to change for another term or two, but this is how it is now. You're going to click the little V, right? The little, I think a V for video, but it's really an arrow. It's going to look like an electrical plug when this editor changes. It's going to be very clean, very nice. It's going to look like an electrical plug, and you're going to click the plug instead of the V. Okay, so it's not entirely different, but I just want to bring that to your attention. If you're watching this and there is no V, look for an electric plug because that might be it. So I'm going to hit the little V. I'm going to choose Canvas Studio. And now my library is going to load. Here I have my test recording. It's my little quiz one. So now I can select that video and I can either do a standard embed, which will allow comments, right? I can also allow them to download my video onto their computer if they want to. I don't want to do that, but I could. So I can either allow comments and just put it as a plain video, or I can do the video quiz which again, any quizzes I've created, I can create multiple quizzes for the same video because you can use it in different classes. So I choose whatever the quiz is that I want to use with this particular video. I'm going to click Embed. It goes in, and I can click Save. And now I can actually see how it titles it titles your video based on the title of the quiz if you've embedded it as a quiz. So I can hit Get Started, so it tells students, that there's a quiz. You might want to just give it the lecture title. And again, right here, which you'll see when it loads, countdown. So now right here, you can see, here's my quiz question. So I'm going to scoot this down just so that we have less seconds to go. Important to note, when you're done annotating, and it's going to stop the video, and it's not going to let me proceed until I take action. So it's not like it's going to continue. If I'm out of the room, my video has stopped here. It's not going to continue. So I can either say, oh man, I have to rewatch it because I wasn't paying attention, or I can just hit continue, or I can answer the question. So I think it was all the above, and I don't think I actually locked it, so I'm going to hit continue. You can click the pencil icon, and now I have answered my quiz. My video continues. I can also see my closed captions, by the way, by clicking on the little closed captions item. The closed captions go to the top. So now the students can see their own quiz results. You'll be able to see an item analysis. So you'll see how many students got that question right or wrong or whatever. You'll also be able to see the student individual results. So you can see how they're doing, and you can enter, some extra points in the gradebook, give them participation points, however you want to do this. Now, again, this does not take their quiz results and put it into the gradebook for you. You would have to manually do that unless you have gone in and embedded it the other way. So the other way you can embed this is as an assignment. So I'm going to go to my modules here. And let's go with an assignment right here. I'm going to enter the assignment so I can edit it. And I'm going to click Edit. And now I have my templating right here. Now I can add in, let's say it's going to be a 10-point quiz, right? So enter in however many points you need. And then under submission type, you're going to select external tool. And now you can find Canvas Studio, select your video, you choose Video Quiz Embed, and Embed. Now we'll select it, and we should be done. So once I hit save, my video goes right in here, and when students watch this video and they take the quiz, that will actually go into the gradebook for them. Now you remember we indicated that this is 10 points. So once they take this quiz, those quiz results are going to go into their gradebook. So this is a great way if you build in participation points. This is a great way to do it. You could call it the week 1 assignment, the week 1 lecture, whatever. And as long as you make it an external tool and select Canvas Studio, you'll be able to bring those quizzes into the gradebook. Now, you can't assign the points per question. It's just the overall points. So if you remember when we set up this quiz, we only added 1 quiz question. So that means that quiz question is going to have all 10 points. So if they were wrong on 1 quiz question, then they're not going to get the 10 points. So all of that stuff is fairly easy to access. You just have to go over it a couple of times, make sure you're embedding it correctly. You can embed it on a page, or you can do it as an assignment with an external tool linked. That's what's going to get it into the gradebook for you. So let's cover one last thing, and that's managing our Studio library. So let's go back into Studio in the global navigation menu. So you can see how this stuff can get out of hand fairly quickly, right? You want it to be organized. So the easiest way to find videos is, right now it's sorted by the date added, although you could sort it by the name instead. and you can view all of the, everything. You can view the collections and the videos, or just the videos, or just the collections. Now, collections are easy to add. These are like file folders. So if I add a collection by hitting plus collection, I would say, let's say Math 110. So everything in my Math 110 collection, all of my videos that are related to Math 110 can be in this collection. So I can go back to my library by clicking my library. And when I'm ready to put this video in my Math 110 collection, I'll click the three dots and I will say move to, and then I'll choose my Math 110 collection, or I can create a new one here. Really, really easy to move things into different collections. Now you can also share those collections or share the individual videos by hitting those three dots. So if I want to share my collection, or rename or delete, right? I can share my collection. I just enter in my fellow faculty's email address that I want to share this with. This is not sharing with students, right? This is just sharing your video with other faculty members. So you'll enter, you can search for their name, or just enter in their Hartnell email address, and you can give them viewing access or editing access. So think about it like Google Drive, right? We can let them view it, which is typically what you'll want, or you can let them edit it if you would like them to be able to delete it. So you can do all sorts of stuff. Be cautious with this. And at this point, we've covered quite a bit. So that's it for now. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them either in the course or send me an email about it. If you're not in a course, you're just viewing this video to learn more about Studio. But let's review a little bit. And of course, you can rewind this video, go back to any section you want. But just to review a little bit, we talked about how to access Studio. So we can click on Studio in our left global navigation menu, and we'll get there. We can record videos and then edit them once we've recorded them. We can also add videos that we've done previously. We could also upload something like a Confer Zoom video if we had one recorded this way. And this Studio library is also where we can not only add those videos or record those videos, but it's also where we can share our videos with other faculty members. And it's also where we can add quizzes to our videos if we want, or we can add comments to our video if we want. Now, when we're actually sharing this content with our students, we need to go into our individual courses. And let's take a look at our modules here. And we can add them by adding them to an assignment by doing the external tool, which will allow their quiz grades to go into the gradebook, or we can embed them in our lesson pages, which will allow students to do things like comment unless you have a quiz, right? So it's either comment or quizzes. You can also add comments to your video in this screen too. So you can do it from Canvas Studio, or you can do it right on the video as it's embedded in the lesson. This is also where you can view your insights. So again, you can view your insights on your video, get that data for who's viewing it and for how long. So you can get that information here directly in the video where it's embedded, or you can get it from Studio itself, from your Studio library. So either way you get to it, it's going to have this information, which is great. And we also went over captions and how to add those captions, how to manage them, and how to upload them if we have a caption file. But again, if you're putting in captions for a YouTube video, watch the video. It should be under the related resources or additional resources, whatever's at the bottom of this lesson page. And you'll be able to watch a dedicated video that will show you how to download your captions from YouTube and how to upload them into your Canvas Studio videos directly. So that should be about it. I hope that you find Canvas Studio as exciting as I do. Watch this video 3 times if you need to. Take it slow, practice. It's very intuitive when you start playing with Studio. So I hope this has been helpful, and thanks for watching.